Sylvette and Personette are sitting together and talking about the hatred that their families have for each other. Sylvette says, the thought often pains me and makes me cry when I'm alone. When I sit alone, I think about the hatred that our families have got for each other, and it makes me cry. I feel very sad. Last month, when I came home from the convent where I'm studying, my father pointed out your father's park and said to me, my dear child, you behold there the domain of my mortal enemy, Bagamin, never cross the path of those two rascals, Bagamin and his son Persinet. So last month when I came from my school, my father showed me your father's park. You know what he told me? What you see over there is a property that belongs to Bagamin, my mortal enemy. My advice to you is that you should never cross a path of those two rascals. Who are the rascals here? The father and the son, Bagamin and his son Persinet, and Persinet is sitting with Sylvette at present. Mark well my words, and obey me to the letter. My father told me, what you see over there is a property that belongs to my dead enemy Bagamin, and you shall never cross the path of those two rascals. The rascals are the father and the son. And father also told me, mark well my words, listen to what I'm saying, obey me to the letter, you should follow what I'm saying 100%. I shall cast you off as enemy if you don't do that. If at all you break the promise, if at all you talk to either Bagamin or his son, I will cast you, I'll dismiss you as an enemy. Their family has always been at bitter enmity with my family, our family. So we should never cross the path of those two rascals. That was a suggestion, that was the advice, that was the order given to me by my father. And I promised. Now, Sylvette is telling Personette, when my father told me these things, when my father gave me this order, I promised. But you see how I keep my word. I gave a promise to my father that I would never speak to you and your father. But look at the way I'm keeping my promise. I made a promise to my father that I would never cross the path of those two rascals, you and your father. But look at the way I'm keeping my promise. Instead of hating you, disliking you, avoiding you, I'm sitting with you. Instead of sticking on to the promise that I made, I am sitting with you. My father hates you. My father hates your father. But look at me sitting with you throughout the night. Personate. Didn't I promise my father to do the same, Sylvette? Then Personate says, don't worry. Even I have made a promise to my father that I'll never talk to you and any of your family members. But what am I doing? I'm sitting with you. I love you so much. Still, I love you, even though I have made a promise to my father that I would never talk to you or any other member of your family. I'm sitting here because I love you so much. Silver, holy saints, oh good God, what should we do now? Even if your father asks you not to talk to me, even if my father asks me not to talk to you, I can't help myself loving you. I love you so much, oh my dearest. Silver says, oh no, you shouldn't do it. It is sinful to break the promise made to your parents. Personate. What can we do? I know it is very sinful. It's a crime. It's a sin. No doubt it is a sin. But what can we do? The greater the obstacles to be overcome, the sweeter is the reward. Sylvette, kiss me. And Personate agrees with Sylvette when she says their love is sinful. But Personate says, what choices do we have before us? What can we do? The greater the obstacles, here, obstacles, hindrances, The greater the hindrances on our way to be overcome, the sweeter is the reward. So, the more the obstacles, the sweeter will be the reward. Sylvette, please kiss me. I love you so much. I know you too love me. Sylvette, oh, never, I can't kiss you. It is a sin. She jumps down from the bench and runs off a few steps. Personette, but you love me, don't you? What? Personette, oh, my dear child, I do sometimes think of us and compare you and me with those other lovers of Verona. My dear child, Personette tells Sylvette, when I think about our love, I feel like comparing ourselves with those unfortunate, unlucky lovers of Verona, Romeo, and Juliet. Sylvan. But I didn't compare. Personal, you and I are Juliet and Romeo. Personal says, yes, I often compare ourselves with Romeo and Juliet. I love you to despair and I shall brave the anger of Pasquinade Capulet and Bagamin and Montaigu. Personate says, I don't care for the enmity that our parents have got for each other. I shall go against the wrath of, I shall resist the wrath, the enmity of my family and your family. Pasquinade and Pasquino Capulet, your family, and Bagamin Montaigu, my family. I don't care for the enmity that our families have got for each other. Sylvette, coming a little nearer to the wall. Then we laugh. Has it happened so soon? Now Sylvette is coming a little closer to the wall and is asking Personette, then should we laugh? We laugh, but how must you, Mr. Personette, how has it happened so soon? Then Personette says, love is born, we know not how. Sylvette is asking Personette how they fell in love with each other even though their parents are enemies. In reply, Personette says, love is born. We don't know how love is born. Love is blind because it must be born. I often saw you pass my window, even though our parents are enemies. I fell in love with you because I had to fall in love with you. It had to happen. It is born because it must be born. And I often used to see you pass my window, Sylvette. I too saw you, Personette. And our eyes spoke in silence at that time. I saw you passing, you saw me. Then our eyes spoke in silence. We never got a chance to talk to each other, but our eyes spoke in silence. I looked at you and you looked at me. Sylvette. One day I was gathering nuts in the garden by the wall, then you came there. Personal. One day I happened to be reading Shakespeare. See how everything conspired to unite the two hearts. Sylvette says one day she was gathering nuts in the garden by the wall. And Personal says yes, one day he happened to be reading Shakespeare and everything conspired to unite the two hearts. The two hearts are Personette and Sylvette. As the two hearts, Romeo and Juliet and Shakespeare came together, we too have come together. Sylvette. And a little gust of wind blew my scarf in your direction. One day I was gathering nuts in my garden and you happened to be on the other side reading Shakespeare. Then a little gust of sudden rush of wind blew my scarf in your direction. While I was gathering nuts in the garden, my scarf was blown off in your direction. Personally, yes, at that time I climbed to the wall to return it. You were on the other side in your garden. I was in my garden, my park. Your scarf fell in my park, so I climbed the wall to return the scarf to you. Sylvanette climbed the wall again. I too climbed. So she's climbed the wall again and saying, I'm climbing. I too climbed the wall. Person. Since that day, my dear, I have waited at the same hour here by this wall, and each time my heart beat louder and faster until I knew by your laugh that you were near. So, from that day, since that day, I have been waiting at the same hour by this wall. Each time my heart beats louder and louder until I know by your laugh that you are on the other side. I come and sit on this side. You come and sit in your garden close to the wall. When I hear you laugh loudly, I know that I come to know that you are there. Sylvan. Now, since we love, we must be married. Now we are in love with each other. Shouldn't we get married? Personally, yeah, I was thinking about it. Sylvan, solemnly, seriously. I, the last of the basket notes, do solemnly pledge myself to you, the last of the garments. Then Silhouette tells Personette, I, the last of the Pascanot family, do solemnly pledge myself, surrender myself, dedicate myself to you. You are the last of the Bagamin, and I am the last of the Pascanot. So I pledge myself to you.